checkers and pleasers alike. Welcome to our show, Checkpoint, the show where we discuss and discern the current events of our most recent episodes of Check Please. Today we are discussing Check Please Season 2, Episode 52 and 53. I would love to welcome our members today. I am Keni, your fortunate host. That way. Foaly as my co-host, hungry for fleshed out answers.
Hello.
Xeno, our swamp witch, swarmmonger.
Who's that?
Beardy, our beloved daddy DM.
Hello!
And Skrewy, our rock hard holy man.
Yeah.
And as always,
Hi.
if in the audience you have questions, throw them out, but, no pressure if you don't. We've got plenty to talk about, 2 episodes worth of content to delve into. And it actually starts off with Skrewy, because when we opened in episode 52, we were searching, or rather you were searching for Plue. 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 It's
PLU,
fun to
spelled
say.
PLU.
Is it
Yeah.
PLU?
Like-
We've been over this.
We have. I need to make sure
Plue.
it's correct on the wiki. Shameless plug for the wiki.
PLU, like plutonium.
Oh
Yeah,
god,
an
is
accident.
radioactive as well as like a
PLO.
Radioactive.
Radioactive.
I mean, what if we condense them down into a rod?
I'm just saying, everybody there had a weird disease in that town.
Not loving where this is possibly going. But yeah, searching for Plue, but not finding Plue, unfortunately.
So interesting. Thinking back the last time, like, really thinking hard about the last time I saw Plue
Mm-hmm.
entering Prota.
Yeah,
That is the last time I vividly remember Plue being
with
He
you.
was with me as we were going across the land bridge,
Yeah.
and
And then you were gone from the party.
and then I was gone, and then I was dead. I was stripped of all my stuff except for the ragdoll, and then I died.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, player knowledge, I think Plue is gone.
Oh no, the
Oh, no.
horror. It's either
Maybe-
that or there's a completely insidious thing that Beardy has been waiting for so long that he's going to drop
Maybe.
on us at some point.
Maybe
Or-
Plue will be back in a later season.
Oh, fuck
Who
you.
knows?
Or Plue is slowly
shit.
like infiltrating the entire Protean Empire and is working its way up to replacing the Emperor himself.
Or Plue's just
Oh,
like
man.
dividing and consuming more people until all become Plue.
Yeah. Proto will just be all these dittos.
Oh god, slime people all over again. We should have burned that village down.
We spent like an
Too late
episode
now.
considering the moral quandary of it,
Look.
which I love.
I am telling you this because I don't want to hear it. I went for hours being like, I think we should kill them all. And everyone got real upset about that. So it's not my fault.
And I wanted Alec to spy in them.
But Levette had too much pride to fucking contact him. So she contacted Karis instead and have like
To have
a
them
guy
look
just
at them for like a week.
a week instead of like having Daraham actually focus on this because they're like, we care about threats to the entire world and especially Daraham. And this could possibly get to us because we're smart and think ahead.
Yep.
I like that side quest.
That's a good side quest.
That was fun.
But Plue is gone. How dare you yell when I'm sleeping? But I think it's very funny that you have searched so many times and come up with nothing. And I really don't think it's because of your perception check, sweetheart.
He's gone.
Yeah, I think he's
I
gone.
think it's particularly funny that you went hunting for Plue when you were supposed to be guarding Curler's room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like how Vera's like, make sure you watch this in case of danger. Petravian looks around for Plue, gets tired, and goes to bed.
God damn it!
Yep.
This guy.
We love you, Skrewy, and we love Petravian.
Guy.
We do.
Yes.
I think he's completely necessary for the party.
Oh yeah.
Very
We love
much
him
so.
especially because he's that way.
Group wouldn't function without Petravian.
He's the heart. He's the big brother.
Yeah, but like, everyone makes fun of that character in Captain Planet.
Oh. Oh. I'm not tea.
That just went. Phew. I used to watch that show. But
Sorry, Skrewy. Are you
It's
okay?
okay.
Oh no.
It's okay.
You thought you were.
I'm just the useless
one?
Did you think you were fire? You're
No,
not Wheeler.
No, I maybe Earth.
No.
No, you can't go into the ground anymore. So.
Yeah. I mean, I can go in one time in the ground.
Oh yeah.
we can put you in the ground.
That was the joke.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good job, Skrewy. I thought it was funny
I
without the
appreciated it.
explanation.
I appreciated it, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, we all go to our rooms, and meanwhile, Levette is hanging out
Working
in their cube,
constantly.
working, and they find something.
I don't know how that bitch doesn't have a lot of fatigue problems mechanically based on how much we're told that she doesn't sleep. It confuses me all the time.
I guess it's I'm not gonna speak.
I know
for
it's probably
Beardy,
a
but
story thing, but there's so many times, at least in season 1, I think, where Grim would be like, Levette didn't sleep last night. I'm like, why aren't you affected by fatigue? This seems like an in-game thing.
If their baseline is a lack of sleep anyway, because they've been this way their entire life, would they get fatigued from keeping to their regular
mean,
sleep schedule, even if their sleep
I
schedule
understand
is
if it's less,
completely
but if you
fucked?
tell me you didn't sleep, that means you didn't sleep.
And they still have
Fair
a
enough.
body.
They still have a body that need to do that. It will just shut down on its own otherwise. I don't know how gnomes work. I mean, it's not like they're much for this world anyways, so it doesn't matter, I guess.
Caffeine.
Rip gnomes.
Caffeine.
They're just concentrated will and frustration. Just compressed
Sexual
down.
frustration.
We'll
That's
get to
in
that.
the next episode.
We'll get to that. But their frustration, at least in terms of the situation with Archie, will perhaps be alleviated by what arrived from Voska. We've got a set
Yes.
of schematics for Levette to start messing with.
I think that's super cool. I'm glad Voska's handling this because I can't anymore. Thanks, Beardy.
I think it was quite sweet that Levette went to Riz to just make sure that Voska was going to be okay with Levette altering the plans and making changes and
Well, the thing is, Levette has a habit of not explaining the entire process of her thoughts. So Riz is like, oh, you want to improve it to make sure it works. That makes sense because no plan can be 100% correct the first time. You never know till it happens, right? What's the correct, process to make an object? There's experimenting, there's drafts, there's every piece to get a finished product, right? So of course Riz wouldn't think, yes, you're thinking of either helping Archie or bringing Moira back somehow with this device. Why would Riz think of that, for one thing? And two, just Levette not explaining her thoughts at all. Ever. She's always keeping something from people, I think.
I will be curious to see which way she goes in terms of who she wants to use this device on, whether it will be directed towards Moira or Archie, who seems like the more clear and present problem. Poor Archie. Beardy, sorry.
Why do you guys keep thinking it's an either, it's a this or this?
Fair point.
I thought you
it's-
told us that.
No, I said it's not a binary. It's an engine that creates souls.
It's not
you can
it's
just
not a single
make
use thing.
more.
Mm.
Oh,
Like,
great!
but you
Infinite
have-
ghosts.
Yeah,
But what you would have to
it's
have
not like,
raw
oh, I'm going
materials
to hook this
put
up
into
and
the
I'm just going to use
engine,
it for Archie, or I'm going to hook it up and just use it for Moira. It's I'll just make one for all right, cool, printed a soul. Here you go.
But
Printed a soul.
I think
Here you
Levette
go.
wants to make Moira's original soul, fix the soul that was eaten, did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Well-
I don't know if that one's gonna be possible, but Levette has a theory on changing the schematics, so fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, if it works out,
What
then...
can go wrong? Another ghoul?
Well, I mean,
Hey,
if this thing
those
does what
infinite
it's
ghouls.
supposed to do, then you won't get the ghoulification.
Yeah.
So
Collaborating with a god, it seems, has a pretty good chance of going well this
Collaborating
time.
with a god is a choice. It just depends on which one.
okay, would Levette try to retrieve the souls and try to put it together, print it out, and give it?
Probably. At least for Moira, I'm guessing. I don't know about everything else.
Huh.
Yeah,
I think
mean,
that's up to Grem to tell us eventually.
Yeah, it really depends on what Levette is gonna do, because yeah, they could like try to find some wisps of Moira's original soul, or some wisps of maybe whatever Archie had or doesn't have anymore, and try to combine that in and tape that to the artificial soul that is going to be printed. Maybe not. We don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. And if that makes Archie a wholly new person, or whether that brings back who they were before.
I'd have to kill
see.
another dog.
Yeah, maybe Archie has to
relearn
relearn
the
some life
lesson.
lessons. Exactly.
That's tragic and also kind of beautiful as well.
I mean, I get it. I partially wanted to get like a really old rescue dog, so I could just experience a dog dying for once in my life.
I don't know. It's a bit too flowers for
would you
Algernon.
want
Very
that?
sad.
I want to understand the pain.
It sucks.
You don't.
The pain comes from the bond,
Time.
and that's
Mm.
you're not
Yeah.
going to get that if you just get a dog. Like
You
at
have
the end of its
to-
life, you have
yeah,
to
you
raise
have-
that dog from birth, and then
Yeah,
watch
Maybe not
it die.
necessarily. in
You have
birth.
to make it
Not
part of your
necessarily
family.
in birth.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All I had was in 10 dogs because my parents wouldn't let me have a pet. Well, I guess
Yeah.
I had my goldfish, Goldie and Swimmy.
Yeah,
Oh.
and there is something
Golden.
brutal
I
about
love it.
watching something's entire life,
Yep.
and seeing it from the moment it was basically born into the world to the moment it dies, and it loves you unconditionally the entire time, and kind of shepherding it through
Yeah.
life, and then saying goodbye. It's brutal, but it's part of life, and it's how I feel like elves feel about humans.
Oh, like how elephants look at people. They're like, oh, they're
Mm-hmm.
puppies.
Well, it's just the lifespan thing is what
Yeah,
I mean.
I get you.
Yeah.
They're little mayflies.
We're pets.
Yeah, which is probably why there's a lot of half elves in the world. It's because elves find it easier to only commit a human lifetime to someone. It's like, oh, that's easy. That's like a short-term relationship.
Wow, that's
I mean, that's
So
probably
very
why
elven.
Gro was so fine with the polyamorous thing. Let's be honest.
It's like, whatever, they'll be dead soon.
Oh my god.
I never looked at it that way, and that's really
Pretty fucked up.
It's just, what would you call it? Utilitarian.
Hmm.
Fucked up. I
view
call it fucked up.
of romance for elves.
Selfish
just-
side note.
Well, it's just like, oh, I just, whatever. They're only going to be around for 40
It's a
years.
side hustle.
That's easy. It's a tenth of my life. Whatever.
It's a swing
Yeah.
or a fling rather.
Yeah.
Screwy, what's up? You were going to say something.
Selfish side note. I really hope he tries to do what I suggested to Marcus, only so that Marcus gets to go and have the family that I want him to have. And I hope it goes horribly wrong.
Oh, you do. Good.
Okay. Jeez. Damn.
What is it with you
Because
and
it's
hurting
interesting.
Tilly?
That's the way
Because
it
it's
should be. I'm
interesting.
so proud of you, Skrewy. Aw, I love you.
Don't get me wrong, I want him to have the happy ending life.
Let's be honest, he's not your Marcus either.
No,
That's because he's
No.
no
Your
Marcus.
actually did have a happy ending.
he did.
Yeah. And you're
exactly.
like, I have no cards in this battle. I already
You get yes. It's like, okay, I already had this ending. Let's reload this save point and
Yeah.
see how it goes that way.
won. I mean, like, at the same time, like, I agree with you. Like, as much as I feel like when I first took Ish's agreement, I did regret it. Like, the instant after that session was over, I wouldn't change it because that's still the better ending for Soul. Because I just think they would have been miserable as the protector. Well, this world's protector. Now they're just Ish's protector.
Mm.
Still her title. But I think they would have been miserable here. And I just don't want that for my baby. So I'm like, yeah, already won. And I'm doing it for a good cause, even if the cause has to be justified by terrible
Genocide.
means.
Genocide.
But at the same time, I've talked to this with Beardy. I can't stand the idea of the people at the end of the world where the hole is finally like opened and like everything's coming out to attack everyone. I can't stand the idea of imagining what pains that generation would have to deal with because of that. It's like the same fear I have about like the supernova happening. It's not going to happen in my lifetime, but I'm really scared for the people that do have to deal with it, and that terrifies me.
That's in like
Honestly, don't.
4 billion
because,
years.
no,
We're fine.
yeah, the
So?
human race will be dead. Long dead.
Yeah, but I don't think they will be in all the worlds in this universe. That's the thing.
No.
Like
In
when
4
the
billion
hole's
years.
done.
Barely. No.
It doesn't
In 4
matter how
billion
much
years.
time it is. I think Ish is right still. Fill the
We-
fucking hole.
Meanwhile,
Don't you fucking
outside the
say.
wall,
Does that
Please, someone clip that and make that into a soundbite.
mean if they do fill the hole, does that mean that eventually the gods will get even more jaded and become more evil? Because now
They're flawed beings. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I mean they're flawed things. They don't have free will in the same way you understand it. But they also have come to a conclusion long ago that the only thing that gives life that gives life any meaning is that it ends, and that includes themselves too. So
Then I guess we gotta kill the gods to make it worth it for them.
yeah,
there you
I
go.
was right all along.
Look, this is a player who's like looking through Soul's eyes right now. But I'd say for like Riz, of course they'd be offended by that, right? It depends on who my brain switches to. But while we're waiting for Lee to get this answer, we're giving him a 4-day time period. Thankfully, it doesn't take that long. We have a wonderful, relaxing day together.
Oh yeah, just kicking back,
Weird.
drinking tea.
We get up in the morning and Curla's acting really fucking weird and creepy and like happy, but like in the most like toxic happy possible. And it's really uncomfortable for everyone involved.
Yeah,
I hated
that
it.
was fun.
And I think it's really interesting that Curla's like, I can never make Riz happy, and Riz is here like, stop bullshitting me, please. I'm gonna go make tea.
No, that was fun to play, and I think kind of in keeping with who Curla is as a character. They're trying to protect everyone.
And you're just
trying
making
to-
everyone angry in the meantime.
Yeah. Yeah, they try and do things, and sometimes they work, and sometimes they very much don't work, but their intentions are always good.
What you thinking
Welcome
there,
to the club,
Skrewy?
buddy. Welcome to the club, buddy.
I saw your cheeks go in as the cogs were turning. I was like, Screw's got something to say.
They're desperately trying to hold it together for themselves and for everyone else in the group, and can't in that moment. But it was much more fun to play than Curla sort of coming out, stomping out, and being all depressive as they were at the end of the last episode, because I didn't want to leave it on that note. I wanted to do something more interesting and more true to the character, because I think they would have spent the night tossing and turning and considering how best to deal with this, and that's what they came up with. Toxic as hell, but in a different way. In a way they haven't quite seen yet before.
Hide a
I don't know, what did you all think of it?
cry.
what do you all think?
What
of
did you all think of it?
It's uncomfortable. It's great.
Yeah, I hated it.
It was beautiful. It was a train wreck, and I loved it.
Well, it's just
Thank
so very different from Curla, so it's just like you know this isn't.
Well, obviously it's you're faking it, but it's like to the obvious point of just being like, stop that, and I want to like just hit you upside the head.
That's not healthy.
You should
Yeah.
have. That would have been
That's
really
not
interesting.
how Riz deals with things.
Well, no.
They're staying true to themselves.
And Petra's just like, oh.
Petra can hit you.
No, Petra's just is kept it
know.
all like, they are handling it how they need to handle it. Not healthy, but
Yeah, everyone's just like, you're a fucking adult. Stop it. Deal with it on your own terms, but Jesus, don't bring us into it.
I mean, that's them trying to deal with it and trying to put on a brave face for everyone and not managing, but that was as much for everyone in the party as it was for them.
About right.
In their mind. Again, yeah, as a player, I know that was toxic and weird, but as a character,
This
that's
is like, don't bring me down with your trauma. I don't need this.
that's me playing the character as the character is.
But yeah, I find it very amusing that it's like, they're always upset, and Riz is just like, I can't. I'm too old for this shit. I've lived way too long to deal with like a young adult like this.
Well, that's the other thing. They're not, the most emotionally sophisticated person, even at their current age, because they've been so repressed.
Right, how old is Curly?
On their own. They're around 35, but considering how much time in isolation they've had and how traumatized they've been their entire life, they don't have healthy coping mechanisms for their emotions, and they're only just now feeling really any significant emotions other than sort of bitterness and self-loathing. So
yeah, everyone's still older than Vera.
Everyone's still older than Vera.
Rip.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah.
See,
they're not going to respond healthily to shit.
Coming into any game, you either and I feel like this is a story arc for most characters. The character learns how to handle their shit, or they already know how to handle their shit, but the way they handle it is challenged in such a way that they have to completely reconstruct in how they handle everything.
And that's kind of what I was driving at in that moment. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't want to keep that up. I wanted someone to call them on their shite.
I mean,
Which-
I think the thing is that just remembering the kind of people you're around too, where they're emotionally exhausted and usually dealing with their own stuff too, where it's just like, I can't be your therapist. We're your friends, not
You
that.
see these spoons?
We
Do
don't
you
have
see
enough
these
of them.
spoons?
Yeah, I get that. And that leads to conflict and drama, which makes the show more interesting and hopefully more engaging for the audience, right?
Yeah.
Yes?
For sure.
No?
Yes.
I nodded.
I mean, we're not going to solve your problems on a silver platter.
Yeah, I wouldn't want you to.
Skrewy, you're making adorable faces today. Stop it, I can't. You're too cute. You're too cute today. I can't do it. I'm gonna punch your fucking cheeks the next time I see you.
Jeez.
Just not the nose.
I promise not to hurt your nose, baby boy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It
So,
was shattered.
what next?
52's a little out of order on timeline-wise because I did this last night and no one else did, so...
It was all kind of happening.
Thank
at the
you,
same
Xeno,
time.
for some assistance, too. But Archie at some point made a comment to Levette. I can't remember when, but I do remember it very vividly, where he asked who those people were, and it tore out my fucking heart, Beardy. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I felt that one. That one hurt. That was a stab.
It hurt around the world.
Yeah.
What now?
Yeah, I think it was Riz and Kurla
fuck
just
off,
walked
God.
out of the room, out of the cube or some such. I forget exactly where, but they walked out of a room and Archie turns and looks at Levette and asks, "Master, who are those people?" And it's just
Awful.
Gut punch.
Awful.
Yeah, that was right after talking about the note.
The what?
That was right after talking about making the adjustments.
Gotcha. Okay.
What's interesting is that I didn't realize that Archie's memories were tied to his divine spark.
I don't think anyone did before this.
That's
We didn't know he had a
that-
divine spark either, and that he
I
can
figured
still.
he had something.
that
I
he
think it
can.
wasn't divine necessarily, but I figured he had something that was shoved in him that is outside of the regular sphere of magic.
What are they doing?
Oh, sorry.
I mean, my question is, how much of Soul's magic is keeping Archie alive still?
Oh.
I thought that magic was just for the.
I mean, it's a divine magic that gave him a voice, but how much of that is just keeping it together?
And if that's finished siphoning off one day, is he just gonna talk and it's gonna sound
Binary
like
again.
binary again? Yeah, it's gonna be like. And you're all
That
gonna be
would be
like,
tragic.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
Don't.
I'm sure Graham
I
would
can't.
be like, well, my boy is dead.
Well-
Is
Wait,
that like the
wait,
moment
we
we
were
have...
still. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, is at the moment we kind of have to take Lenny around to the back of the shack and put 2 in the back of the head.
And be like,
Hug the
All right,
rabbits,
Archie.
Archie.
all right, Archie, think of Daraham.
You said that I could take care of the doggos.
Yeah.
You can, buddy. You can.
Oh, poor Archie.
Think
I mean,
of the
most,
Schnookums.
most beloved character. I think that's fair to say.
Well, if everything goes
it,
according
boy.
to Levette's plan, then Archie should be fine.
Oh God, don't do that.
What were you going to say, Skrewy?
Since we all can understand the languages everywhere, can we understand binary too?
Yes.
Okay.
Except for Curla.
So,
Curla will be
yeah.
our canary.
Oh, that's right. Curl will be the only one that will find out that.
Archie
that's
stops
sad.
talking, yeah.
Oof.
So it's a good thing I didn't drink the Kool-Aid.
Absolutely not. You should drink the Kool-Aid. You still have it, don't you?
Never.
What flavor's the Kool-Aid?
Honey?
There will be no drinking of the Kool-Aid, I'm afraid.
You'll love
Maybe.
it.
We'll see. There are a few more episodes left. Who knows? I mean,
Few more.
least,
We've
like
got a
12
while
maybe.
to finish this area.
Well,
hell, I might be a complete Bible-bashing Maleferant by the time of the end of this season. You never know.
I mean, this was 53 we just did, right?
Yes, that is correct.
So yeah, about 12 episodes left.
I mean, it depends on how.
I'm shooting for 65. That doesn't mean it's going to be exactly
Yeah.
65.
This is why I keep saying it's endgame right now, guys.
Yeah, we're on the last arc.
I get it. It's just
It's the last arc, Skrewy.
oh,
We're almost done. We're gonna save the world or die trying.
Okay.
Season 2's
do you
wrapping up.
remember when do you remember when y'all said no, it's not 2 weeks, buddy.
Yeah.
We're going
It's time to die now.
I'm
I
hoping
do
that we
remember that.
succeed.
I remember
Fun
that episode
post-credit
very vividly because y'all ruined my fucking house that day. And you insulted my mother and
What happened? Oh, you're talking about in.
That was a good episode.
Presidium.
Yeah.
One night. You needed
Guys,
one night for
all
them
I
to
ask
act
is
like
that you
adults.
guys just don't freak out, don't do anything that would be problematic. Just have a calm evening, take baths, have dinner.
I did.
You
blame,
yelled at my mom to the point where she took your speaking away.
She took your voice.
I blame Karis and Levette.
Deserved it.
I do blame
That's
them
true.
as the start of it.
Oh yeah.
Because I almost got grounded enough to not come with you guys.
No, I mean it was absolutely my fault. I completely get it.
100%.
You
Yeah.
are an instigator through and through.
Yeah.
It was
what I did
glorious.
But still continuing on to this episode, we can reminisce on all the shitty shit you did.
It also spawned everyone constantly talking about how Vera doesn't take a bath, even though Vera very much
that's the
takes
thing.
baths.
I think there's this weird misconceived notion that like druids never bathe, and I don't know where it comes from because I'm like they're in nature. They would take
not 'cause
baths all the fucking
Bombadil.
time.
Yeah, 'cause druids are dirty, nasty, filthy, flea-ridden people.
Water
Trust me, I know.
exists everywhere.
But I mean, you are,
Radagast, the brown.
Vera
he's
is
a
like
wizard still.
always covered in vermin, so
Yeah, but they still bathe themselves. Yeah,
In
they may
vermin.
smell like vermin.
Yeah.
But they're still
cat-
technically clean.
I always think of
Yeah.
Vera smelling like that ladybug stuff.
That is exactly what they smell like.
Yeah.
When you
Cat-
get close.
Cats
Ew.
bathe themselves. So
you're saying
you
that
suggesting
Vera
that Vera's
licks herself
licking?
clean. Wow.
Do I have to explain Vera's bathing to Petravian too? I already
Doesn't
had to
it-
explain praying.
But we'll get to that too.
But in the meantime, a little bit of confusion was happening because everyone was being sneaky and silly, and Riz was out for an entire day, pretty much, so they didn't know what was happening. But Kurla and Petravian were acting all suspicious and weird, and they spent time alone, Levette told Riz, and there was all this stuff. So, of course, Riz is like, Vera, I think they're having relations. It's weird.
What?
There was a lot of shtick, and I loved it.
I don't know what
The
fuck
shtick
they're
was
doing.
fun.
All the bondage talk pretty much was just confusing Riz up the wazoo because they were
Which
like,
was great.
I was asleep. I don't know what happened. Everyone's just talking about these two tying each other up to experiment, and like, there's nothing wrong with that. I just want to know if they're in a relationship or not. Like, I figure Hummel's fine with it. I just didn't think Petravian was poly. That's all. I'm very confused. And also, like, I only figured like Curl would be like a romantic sort, not like a sexual sort. So like, what? I don't know what's happening.
I was just sitting back and giggling my ass off. I was like, yes, this is great.
I mean, I figure if you just wake up and suddenly a bunch of shit happened while you were asleep, like, you'd be confused too.
Absolutely.
And no one's like being straight with Riz, so that's the
No
problem.
one can explain it.
Petravian's pan, I thought.
I was delighted by that.
I said-
I just...
Polly, honey.
Yeah, no, but you said being straight with you.
Oh, okay. I thought you were arguing that he was actually poly,
No,
and I was
no,
like,
no,
that's
no.
fine, but like,
No.
he seems very monogamous.
I love that it was Vera who finally had to explain exactly how things
Yes.
went down because you weren't getting a clear answer from
Now, Vera's the
anyone.
only one who can tell Riz things straight, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And
nonsense.
that's mending the relationship, thankfully.
Slightly.
Slightly. Yeah. Because Riz still thinks you're a terrorist.
Why would they think that?
Why would they think that? I kill people for gods. You killed people from a grudge.
So which one's worse?
Yes.
Is it worse to have done it once out of anger rather than being like, yeah, that's just what I do?
You still have a
Okay,
higher
it
count
depends
than
what
me,
you
my
get from the
dude.
god.
What?
Yes, but what you get from the god depends.
If
If you kill people for a god and you get something from it, technically,
power.
Is it worse to be an action or a hobby?
exactly.
Yeah, it's like a give and take relationship there. Like, you spill blood for your god if your god's into that kind of thing, and your god usually gives you some boon in exchange. And either that's like through spell casting, or it's like any other kind of special divine intervention. Like maybe you get some sort of blessing on you or your bloodline, stuff like
Blood
that.
for the blood god.
Not exactly, but yeah.
But no. I mean, like, where do you think disintegrate comes from? Who do you
your
think
finger.
disintegrate comes from?
Player's handbook?
I'm gonna choke you.
D20PFSRD dot. Anyway. Oh dear.
From their finger.
That's what I said.
No.
Yeah,
It is
it's,
a couple of people they can call on for that one.
Yeah, but realize that like a lot like Riz's power doesn't come from Riz. Riz just channels the divine,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not their disintegrate spell.
No.
Nacho cheese.
They have disintegrate. Do they have something similar to like decay, where it's not like it just turns to ash, but like it
I have
rots?
feeble mind.
Okay, but that's
That's a
different.
brain
That's-
decay.
Bear's got that.
That's
You have that too?
oh,
Oh no, the like basically just rotting them.
Oh, okay.
You got that finger of death
You have to. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, finger of death will
with
do it.
with a different spin on it, which is extra gross. So it's wonderful.
So I do not think decay is in Riz's available spells they could pick from. They have a very small list of spells. All illusion ones are non-existent for a Fate Weaver. They do not have access to illusion spells.
They prefer to lie about the fortunes, if anything.
They do it in front. They don't do it with their magic.
guile.
I'll just
Riz
take,
has
you know,
guile.
bluff as a class skill.
But it's all
Riz is
good.
an enigmatic figure.
I mean, Riz is a mystery to me too. So like,
We learn about ourselves.
we learn about ourselves. Mine is
Speaking-
a power fantasy.
Speaking of learning about ourselves,
Yeah.
Kurla had a nice conversation with That Which Hungers about learning about themselves.
So angry all the time. Angry.
Had a story about a cockroach.
Yeah, what did you make of that, Beardy? Because that was...
Oh, I loved it. Yeah,
So
I thought
good.
that was great.
I just thought about my trip to Florida and how I found a cockroach on the last day.
I felt bad. I felt bad
Never again
about the
at that hotel.
cockroach. I was sad.
Yeah, I also kind of felt bad for the cockroach because I was like, oh, just take him out. Oh.
Why'd you do my Blatodi Day dirty, Kurla?
Skrewy, thoughts?
I have thoughts that I want to tie into something in the first portion of the next episode, and I will save it there.
Just
And-
remember.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And oh, who wants to go?
You go.
I'll go.
Oh,
Go ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I really love the fact that That Which Hungers, it is very much pro the natural order of things. It's that the weak triumph over the powerful triumph over the weak. It's like food chain. And
Yeah.
it's exactly the opposite of what Malefer does, which is going against nature itself in a way, which is trying to reverse that because they think that's unfair.
Yeah.
And I love the cockroach analogy.
Yeah.
That's so good.
It's like why, and I love That Which Hungers was just like, I know exactly why you killed it. You killed it because you were stronger than it. Period. It doesn't matter
Period.
It doesn't matter what your emotional state was. It doesn't matter what like beliefs you put behind it. You killed it because you were stronger than it, and that's the only thing that matters. And I think that's an interesting worldview because it's not necessarily evil on its face, but it does lead to like power, right? It's about power and might making right, which again is not necessarily evil because it is the natural order of things. But it can be interpreted in interesting ways. And I think it's interesting that Kurla, has to walk through that and experience that and go through that entire situation inside their mind and determine, like, oh, am I a bad person? Was I a bad person before this all happened to me? And I think that's the juicy bit.
That's chief in their mind right now, and they're having to reconcile the way that they view themselves and the way that they have tried to act versus, well, maybe this nastiness is actually innate to me. Maybe it's always been there. Maybe I'm not so much fighting against what was done to me or by That Which Hungers, but fighting against my own innate nature, dating back to childhood. And how do I deal with that? Should I not be fighting it as much?
And That Which Hungers is just like, there's nothing wrong with being stronger than something else. There's nothing wrong with enforcing your will upon the world by virtue of your strength and ability to do so. And maybe that's liberating for Kurla, or maybe that's terrifying for Kurla. And I think it's fun to explore that.
It's horrifying, but there's also that part of them that does enjoy it, just as there was that part of them that enjoyed that moment of power when they killed their sister and devoured her flesh. As they later confessed, it's, they enjoyed that on some level, and they've never known whether that was them enjoying that or the part of them that Which Hungers fucked with enjoying that. But
I guess we'll never know.
well, they're working through it right now.
Sorry, I had to bring Zafe out for a second.
Thanks, Seifa.
You're welcome.
It's really fun to play, and I'm glad that landed with you, Beardy. I'm glad that you enjoyed that little moment. It was one of the things I wanted to discuss with you in the previous week leading up, but I kind of ran out of time on that, and I also thought maybe it would be better if it just came up in the course of things, because it
Yeah, no, I think it was fine. It worked out really well.
works backstory-wise, so... Also, it's based on the reality. A little bit. I used to squish spiders, and then I made friends with one that had lived in my house for like 6 months, and I was like, okay, you've lived here unbeknownst to me, I can't really squash you now, so we're gonna have to come to an understanding, and now I trap them and take them outside. Because I realized I shouldn't kill things just because they freak me the fuck out. So I wanted to put a bit of that in Curler as well. Maybe that sounds ridiculous, I don't know, but that's how I stopped killing spiders and taking them outside. No reaction to that at all. Okay.
No,
is that
there's
weird or something? I don't know.
No, you said the statement you said. I just don't kill something just because it freaks you out. It's like there's a lot in that statement unto itself, outside of Curla, just in general, and it can be used in a lot of ways. I just like that phrase.
No, it's a thing that Curler struggles with and is struggling with, and I think that it makes them more interesting to play, and I don't know where they're going to come out on this, since they're having to explore that darker side of themselves now in order to deal with the powers they've been given, but we're getting ahead of ourselves, so... Meanwhile...
Levette invites Riz and Jiro to look at the labyrinth that she's making in the cube for Curla for note-taking? So when we were playing, I was taking this as Levette's version of shackles. I did not understand that she was also making shackles too. So I misunderstood what was exactly happening per se. But the whole obstacle course and Levette's fucking book obsession log thing, I want to burn that thing end of season.
No.
That is a dangerous book.
Just go back to being soul.
It does have some
Go
nasty
back to
spells in it, doesn't
burning.
it?
Yeah, it's a very dangerous piece of work.
Maybe Levette will burn it. Maybe that will be their sort of crowning moment at the end of the season.
Definitely not.
Would be
No,
interesting.
she would never.
Well, we can't speak for Graham. Graham's not here.
That is absolutely anti-Levette and Graham mentality, is burning books.
No, they would just send that book into the Between Planes
I don't
library.
see that happening either.
Maybe they'll give it to book.
Maybe start publishing it.
I don't know.
Oh, God.
Then we have a big problem.
My understanding of... Sorry, go ahead, Beardy.
Okay.
I was just going to say, my understanding of the obstacle course, and Graham can correct me on this later, was that it was meant to be somewhere where Curler can be kept, yes, sort of in shackles if they do become a problem, but also a place where they could, like, train and learn to harness this power if they wanted to, which at this point, Curler had no interest in doing.
Yeah.
But either way, it was kind of Levette to put so much time into that. Unfortunately, Curler was still freaking out at this point and wasn't down for trying it out, but Jiro was. Good sport, Jiro.
Oh, that boy's hot. Let me have this. It's been so long since I've had romance. Please.
It's been like not even a season. Okay.
Look, knowing my next season's character, it's gonna be a hot minute, so I need this. I need this.
Well, speaking of Jiro, after he had fun in the danger room, he also ended up wanting to help you guys set up a more permanent camp while you were waiting for entry into Kentao. So he was helping, beautify
Just kind of
things.
going off on his own here and there.
Yeah, he would sort of disappear from a conversation, and then a little while later would come back, and there'd be a bunch of flowers everywhere.
Which is quite sweet. He's
That's
got a
right.
good heart, that one.
Had flowers.
Yeah, flowers happen a little bit later though. But he insisted that we should make the camp pretty because the question of what do you guys normally do when you camp out? We just stay in here. we just go in the bardo, I'm sorry.
That is sad because Vera's very survivalist, so I can't even soap camp.
I'm sorry.
Ripperoni.
I'm sorry I went in for a spell that was to just make our lives easier for traveling when I first started. I'm sorry. Could you ever forgive me, Xeno?
Never.
Alright, well, I'll kill you later.
But cute, colourful pillows. I mean, what
That's
more does
just
one
your
need in
room.
life?
You could put those in the wagon. It's fine.
With
You
all the
put
bees?
and
Yeah.
honey all over it.
That's fine.
Makes it better.
You got something against honey?
Sticky.
I mean, Curler didn't, and then Curler and Vera had an interesting little quick back
Fight.
and forth, and
That's true.
yeah.
I wanted it to get worse. I'm not gonna lie. I was living for the drama in that moment.
Oh, well, Vera would have gone further if it wasn't for the Pentress stuff, because I still feel strange interacting with the party after that.
I quite enjoyed that moment. I would have taken it further as well, because it kind of reminded me of the beginning. It was kind of a nice throwback, I guess, to how acrimonious their relationship was at the start of the campaign.
It was loud enough for Riz to come out of their tea making area to be like, "What the fuck, guys?"
But yeah, they both they both hit some sore spots.
Well, because it really took off once Vera was like, "Why are you expecting me to be your executioner?"
Yeah.
No, because that's what you do.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they've done up until that's Curler's conception of Vera, or had been up until very recently, and when they're freaking the fuck out, they're kind of falling back on those assumptions, plus it's what Curler's been assured by Vera.
But I was actually quite happy to hear that part, because it did slightly basically prove what Vera was thinking originally, which was that their original conversation back in what was Curler's hometown?
Pollyanna.
Pollyanna,
Mm-hmm.
where Vera had talked to Curla about all this Pentress stuff beforehand, and Curla had said basically, "Hey, you're a different person. It's fine." And after that, Vera kind of decided, I guess that was all talk, in a way, because once you actually saw it, then you actually understood it. It was like, oh no, you actually are just a murderer.
No, it's what they said in that moment, anyway.
But I mean, the loudest words get taken more usually.
And then we had a little bit of back and forth about whether or not. Oh god, how did it go? You know, why won't you get your own hands bloody? Well, your hands have already got so much blood on them. At least it's not the blood of a sister.
No,
At least I have a real sister.
Yours had more on them, because Vera was talking about actually having physical blood on their hands. So like, no, I think you did. It's like, not my sister's. It's like, at least I have
a real sister. Yeah, that could have got.
I like how Petravian was just like, "You two stop it."
No, it was
Vera,
get in the Vardo.
that's too far.
I mean, Vera spat at me before the sister thing came in. Anyway,
Oh, I
so that
fucking loved it.
That was great. No, I was digging that. I wanted that to, well, not escalate, but I wanted a little bit more of the, because it's just, that kind of conflict is quite interesting to play, and I think quite natural for the characters in that moment. So I really enjoyed that. I'm glad you did too, by the sound of it, Xeno.
Yeah. I'm glad that Petravian didn't have Vera's back.
Again.
Ooh. But at this point, Jiro kind of intervenes and
Yeah.
takes
He's like-
Curler off to fight. We're gonna fight now.
You need to spar. Let's go.
Which was great because it was something that I was planning on asking Jiro for, but we'll get to that because around this time, and this is slightly out of order, but around this time, I think as they go off and fight, no, it was
that's
after
after.
it was after the
Don't
fight.
worry
Okay,
about
so I guess we'll talk
Like
about
I
the
said,
fight.
it's not in order. I did what I could.
So, Beardy, yeah, what was Jiro's motivation in that moment when he intervened in this primal god versus primal god follower fight?
Well, he probably thinks that both of your religions are kind of hokey and weird, personally. but he's not going to get involved in your individual religious disputes.
Elder being worshippers, am I right?
So what he thought he would do would be to help Kurla blow off some steam, because he kind of saw this pent-up rage and aggression in both of these characters, and is like, well, I don't know if I can help Vera, but I can probably help Kurla.
I have aggression.
So
I loved Riz's reaction in that moment.
What was it?
Kurla was like, I have aggression, and Riz is like, Riz was just sort of like, just laughing at what a lack of.
Oh, did I have like a really loud pa?
Yes.
Just can't hold it in at that point.
Yep. Which, totally fair, totally accurate. And yeah, it had been something that I was thinking of trying to find a way to approach Jiro with, but in the state that Kurla was in, that probably wasn't going to happen for a while, so I'm very glad that Jiro intervened to offer it first.
mm-hmm.
And I like where that went, in that, well, no, meditation is not really going to work here, but
nothing.
maybe if you did a version of what you're being told to do, which is to let go, and actually experience and release some of what you're feeling rather than trying to keep it all in, maybe you'll feel better, and maybe that will lend you enough clarity to actually keep yourself present when this magic takes hold, which was really, really cool.
Somehow all of this reminds me oddly of Repo, the genetic opera.
How so?
There's the night surgeon in the movie, and when he's like in this mode, he's like, I'm just the night surgeon. I take the organs and stuff. And then there's the version where he's not the night surgeon, just like, I'm a dad. And something about that dichotomy, and just how dramatic Repo is, because it's a rock opera. It's a flawed rock opera, but something about all that just reminds me of Kurla's letting go, and I just hear like fucking metal guitar riffs in the background when this like spider thing is happening. I'm like, wow, this is a scene. It doesn't fully connect, but something about it harkens to that in my heart.
I appreciate having the space to use this to kind of explore Kurla's character and give him a final push towards where they're hopefully going to be at the end of the season. Given that, mechanically speaking, this is just the spell that I took when I leveled up. Like, that's all there is. It doesn't have to be out of my control. It doesn't have to be causing all of this turmoil. But I think the fact that it is, and that it can tie in with Kurla's relationship with that which hungers, and their relationship with himself and with the rest of the party, and have all of these ramifications, and hopefully let them grow as a person, is a really cool aspect of the game, and something I've appreciated. So thank you for that opportunity, Beardy.
That's what I do.
But what was the cat noise spell?
Yeah, what was the cat noise spell? Are we ever gonna get there?
You might.
If we do not, you have to tell us final checkpoint.
Sure, I absolutely will do, but I think that spell's going to get used again.
I'm
Maybe.
curious
We'll see.
if it'll make sense.
Thank you, ye of little faith.
Well, it wasn't Cat's Grace, and I don't have any other calculations, and I'm not going through your spell list to be that weird guy.
Oh, I went through it, and I couldn't find anything cat related.
I promise
so
you it will
good.
make sense, and it will be thematically appropriate, even if it's slightly weird. But Kurla just casts spells on instinct, so some part of Kurla said, you gotta meow in order to cast this spell. Maybe they were wrong on that.
Yeah.
But to them, that's what they needed to do. That was the verbal component, as they did that as the somatic component. Meow!
I hope someone, when people are searching for talk shows, they'll just have all of our hands up in the screenshot for the loaded image.
Outstanding.
I hope so.
Meow.
Let's pose for the thumbnail.
I can't do this. So good.
I like to throw in some fun bits, you know?
Yeah. But While you're fighting, Kurla makes a horrendous noise, which of course triggers most of the party into action to
Emphasis
go.
on most of the party.
Most of the party, yep. My question is, Skrewy, did you not want to go there because you as the player knew that it was fine?
No, Petravian's like, no.
But you wanted to stop your...
You guys are handling it.
No,
guys-
you tried to stop your party mates. You said, no, don't do it. Don't go towards them. I want to understand.
We want to know if we need to chastise you for metagaming, Skrewy.
Yeah.
Don't admit to anything. Talk to your lawyer. Plead the fifth.
I want you to know you're only detained. You're not arrested. So I'm not going to read you your rights.
ACAB.
ACAB.
Definitely ACAB. Just say that you were never in any doubt that Jiro could have completely kicked Kurla's ass, or that Petravian was in no doubt, because that's completely accurate. He absolutely could have ended me.
I think that that's not true.
Really?
I feel like the stats as written for Jiro at that point, if we had actually done that as a proper rolled, done everything combat, I think it would have been much closer than you realize.
Interesting.
Largely because Jiro and the rest of the Lightning Blades were written in to be level 15 when you guys were level 14, and I have never updated them. So you actually have 2 levels on this guy at this point. So, yes, his abilities are very good and very combat-centric and very much designed to be a pain in the ass. But you do have more tricks up your sleeve than he does.
Interesting.
Now, he can do things like make shadow clones of himself, he can become invisible, he can teleport around like an asshole, he gets crazy amounts of attacks and sneak attack. So he can do a lot of damage. But it's also situational. So if you can turn the combat on him in some way, if you could control the flow of combat, you could shut him down pretty easily.
He was designed to kill me, not you.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's Dunkelmere.
He was designed to kill Riz.
Dunkelmere was for Vera.
Yeah, and
Donovan's the one who kills me.
I'm very proud that Dunkelmere is in existence because of Vera.
Yeah.
Great pride.
Dunkelmere!
Dunkelmere!
Dunk!
Get dunked!
Get dunked!
He will live on in infamy in my heart.
Oh, I hope we'll see him again sometime. I don't know.
He can be an
he's a
old
human,
man
isn't he?
in season 3.
He's human.
Oh, rip.
He's human. He's
Alright,
not
you
gonna live.
motherfucker.
Don't worry, it'll be Dunkelmere's kid.
Oh my
Dunkelmere
god.
Jr.
Dunkelmere the
Dunk
third?
Jr.
Dunk Jr.
Dunk
In my
the third.
mind, Tony of Hawk is going to join the Lightning Blades at some point. That's just my hope.
Yes.
I am not responsible for that, Kenny. I see that sort of
That's my
look of pain.
I think that was me or Skrewy. I can't remember.
I don't know.
I think it was both of us working
Y'all
in tandem.
maintain it though, and it hurts my soul. I have to deal with fucking our
Well, hey.
librarian friend. Enough. Isn't that enough? Isn't that enough to torture the Keni?
You want me to tell you about the Dewey Decimal System?
Screwy, I know you need to get out of here in a few minutes. Were there any final thoughts you wanted to offer on either of these 2 episodes?
I was hoping we would get to the seed scene.
Let's talk about it.
before...
Can we talk about it?
What's that?
Yeah, let's
talk
talk
about
about it.
I
Before you have
do.
to go.
I very much do. So, tying back to what Kurla's talking with their deity and trying to accept and everything, Petravian just was trying to bring in both of his faiths and trying to do something good. And I don't think it went very well. I don't think it went well. But he's gonna try again, and I hope that he doesn't offend Riz.
You shouldn't be worried about offending me.
Yeah, it's not Riz you need to worry about. Riz doesn't give you your spells and powers.
I as a player,
Riz is trying to
have-
guide you to not offend things.
right, but he doesn't think he offended anybody at the moment. He thinks he just didn't do it right. So, at playing the character, I really hope it doesn't go horribly awry, or he just gets plucked and put in timeout. Like,
The thing I find most interesting about your whole like struggles with worshiping Mellifera is that you have an open line of communication to talk to Mellifera pretty much at any time. Like you can just be like, "Hey Vera, I want to talk to my god," and Vera be like, "Cool, let me channel."
but he can channel. We've already established he can do that himself.
Yeah,
by
well,
himself.
it's even easier.
Even easier.
then.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes,
you for
but-
making my
okay,
point even
But
easier.
he didn't. Yes, I understand. As the character,
Right.
It's
Yeah. I
with
find it
this.
really
I think
interesting.
it's going to. I think with this failed attempt, and with the likely next failed attempt, he is going to say, "Yo, Melly."
I think Melly just might contact you first and be like, "Brother, what are you doing?"
Exactly, and that's I'm looking forward to that communique because he's going to try to ask questions that he wants to know so that he can be the best bridge that he can be.
I'd just like to say that even though Petravian's fucking up, Vera still has your back.
Do you have Vera's
Does
back?
Petravian have Vera's back?
There's a nasty comment that I just flashed, and then we're just gonna be nice.
No,
Yes.
Skrewy, no. Don't be like that.
Petravian has Vera's back.
And problems.
But come on, don't say such mean, horrible things. It's like rude.
to you or to Petravian? Or to Kurla?
What part are we at?
Yeah, where are we at in this
Where are we at?
conversation?
We're saying Petravian's is saying, "Come on, man. I know it's true what you say, but Jesus, man, you don't say shit like that."
But
What
did-
is the shit,
But didn't
though?
clarify anything.
When they were arguing with Kurla.
There we go. That's the part we were missing.
yeah.
That was the
Sorry,
context.
when they were arguing. Sorry, context there. When they were arguing with Kurla. Yeah, it's like, oh, God. I know you're better than this.
I mean, nothing was said that wasn't true.
Yes, I know, but Petravian wants Vera to. He wants Vera to just.
Did
Chill.
you hear what Riz said, though? Earlier in that, it might have been this episode, actually, for 53. I'm just going to check if you heard what Riz said. Well, Petravian is Vera's apprentice. He should listen to her.
Yeah, that was some interesting section there, which prompted a lot of the stuff that happened after it.
Just a thought. Just
Um,
a thought.
While you're still here, since we've jumped ahead a little bit, do you want to talk about the fact that Vera had to kind of teach Petravian how to pray to Mellifera more?
More better, yes.
More successfully,
good.
more
Actually.
Gooder.
more actually.
More gooder. He is a boy that tries and doesn't ask for help. He doesn't ask until it's seen that he's done it wrong, and then he will happily take the advice and unfortunately make bad decisions with it.
And we love him for it.
But to the
Active
gods.
I
listening
hope-
needs to happen.
Active listening needs to happen. Yeah.
I mean,
think
12
so.
episodes left. Is this likely to be a change that takes
Yeah.
place in Petravian?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I
Yes.
believe it will.
Cool.
Okay.
Yay,
shall
character
see.
growth.
Well, we want
You seem very skeptical in there.
We just want Redubi to have a good older brother to look up to, you know?
And give hammers, too.
Oh,
Let's hope Farrah never
Oh.
dies.
Get hammers from, I guess.
But if Farrah does die, interesting things will happen, so...
It's true. I worry of that time.
I worry.
Well,
Yeah. So on
Shall
that
we-
note,
yeah, shall we jump back to 52?
See you later, Skrewy.
And take care, Skrewy. Thanks
Bye.
for joining us. Okay, now we can talk shit about Petravians. No.
yeah.
Well,
What are you talking about? This isn't episode 50. We could do it all the whole time.
fair enough. So a little bit later on, I can't remember to whom Riz was speaking. No, it must have been Jiro when Riz was doing their little blow-by-blow reenactment of the
No, that was
conversation
in the
between Vera
Vardo
and
during
Kurla.
dinner. But before that, Kurla was
Okay.
walking back with Riz and kind of asked them about their before time life.
Yes.
Which was interesting because Riz pretty much stated, like, I've been telling you guys. I've said this thing before. I've said a lot of
And-
these things before.
A lot of it's sort of been in passing and not in great detail,
It
and
rolls
a lot
off
of the
people's backs very often.
time there is that active listening failure. In fairness, we are trying to save the world, so stuff gets forgotten. But
We went to Vera's village to deal with her terrorism.
yeah, Kurla was making an effort to actually learn more about Riz's back
To
story.
be fair, we've gotten some of Riz's backstory and stuff, but Riz has forgotten their backstory too.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you after this episode, Xeno.
It's just the
This is
duality,
accurate.
you know?
We went to save Petravian after he was kidnapped and watched him die. Well, half of us watched him die. And then Vera revived him. There was active listening there, like, oh no, Petravian's dying. We gotta get there.
Yes.
Does anyone truly care about Risen?
Who?
Yes,
Exactly.
but you told an interesting story, and I can't remember if you mentioned it in the episode or
No, it was
when we were
after.
discussing it after. The genesis of that story.
Yes,
Do you want
the
to just talk a
story
little bit about where that story
so
came from?
The story was about a young noble that Riz pretty much took care of, like helped him raise himself to be like a good ruler, and eventually found his love for him, who had feelings for Riz. This was one of the earliest like small role plays me and Beardy did to kind of figure out Riz's personality. Because I've always believed that Riz is like a demi character, and it just someone has to click with them to sorry, Skrewy.
Get dunked, Skrewy.
I love you. I know I've always known they needed someone who really clicked with them to make sense for them to feel that kind of emotion towards another person. And I feel as though I can't remember if I've updated Riz's backstory yet, but I think we've gone to the point where I've already said everything that Riz has said in the past about their backstory that they're aware of. That's like what I wrote for Beardy originally. But in the very sense, it was just very early. I think Beardy was literally here visiting when we did the roleplay too, where we were just going back and forth, and I'd be like, oh, Riz would do this, and we roleplay a lot.
we were just kind of spitballing,
yeah.
improv the character.
And I thought the story was cute and wanted to keep it.
No, it
So
definitely worked. It revealed an interesting side of Riz.
it's the only other time they've stayed, is what they said. It was a lot shorter, but they stayed.
And I think learning that was...
Oh no, their biography's actually on the wiki. That whole thing. It's all on the wiki.
Learning that was a good moment for Kurla and for the audience, I think. and it's nice to be able to. I'm glad that you were able to bring in that early roleplay defining that character. As you say, I'm glad that you were able to keep that, since it was kind of important in their development.
It pretty much
Cool.
was just a fun story for Riz. I don't know if it's super important on their development. I just liked it.
It fleshes out the character.
They got a lot of horse stories. You guys want to hear about horses? They've had a lot of horses.
Oh, so many times.
So many horses.
Give me at least 3.
All right, one of them
So
was
many
a painted
horses.
pony.
They've had more horses than they may be.
One of them got
realized,
stuck
but
in tar.
We'll get to that as well.
Um,
So I guess fast forward to dinner, and there was that delightful moment with Riz reenacting the fighting between Farah and Kurla, which I just loved as a player.
I
how Kurla
don't
felt
know
about
if
it, but
Riz is able to really do voices, but they tried their best.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
It was a fun thing to do because it was also my way to show off that Riz just thinks all of this is so absurd at this point. Is just really tired. Just like, these bitches won't stop fighting.
yeah, it's nice levity and captures Riz's perspective on matters.
Yeah, but they needed a break after dinner and they went outside. Kind of hang out with their horse mostly. With Jiro following behind them, unbeknownst to them, beknownst to me as a player, of course, because I have ears. But they went outside and found all these flowers laid around the fucking Vardo, and it was so sweet. And they were forget-me-nots, which is my second favorite flower. So that was really nice. And Jiro not only decorated the campsite, but also like got a whole bundle just for Riz, and it was super sweet. And then he told me my horse was wrong.
Well, he also managed to get some in the horse's mane.
Yeah, the horse let him
believe.
touch him. So
Maybe,
that
yeah.
was weird.
Well, I'm
Jiro's
curious.
Good at throwing things.
I was going to say, did he touch him, or did he find a way to sort of indirectly get those flowers in there, like throwing star style?
I don't know. That's a good question. We may have to ask Jiro.
Well,
I mean, I'm sure he'll give us an exact answer
Oh yeah,
that is not infuriating.
not enigmatic in the slightest.
at least to Riz at this point, they believe that Jiro can touch their horse.
Which is a big deal, especially given the horse's nature, which we get another glimpse into shortly thereafter.
Yeah, Riz asked Kurla for a little bit of help with the true seeing because they wanted to prove that the horse was a little odd, but there was nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with the horse.
Kurla comes tear-assing out of the Vardo,
Yeah.
wanting to be useful. Busts out some eye ointment, casts true seeing on you both, and then buggers off, leaving you to, leaving Jiro to see, I guess, the Eye of the Angry God and Riz in their,
Kaleidoscope ponies.
yes, Riz in their normal form, but then with some adjustments to their hair, but also Riz seeing,
All my
Well,
horsies.
yeah, the horses, many horses, somehow.
Oh, the pretty
The-
little ponies.
The horses of Christmas past.
and
And
future.
perhaps, yeah, Christmas is yet to come, but more than Riz had anticipated.
Well,
Yeah, how
I
many did
mean,
I say there were?
I think you said over 70.
50 or 70,
Yeah.
something like that.
50 or 70, 15, 70 horses. Yeah, and you thought you had how many? Like a
About
dozen?
20.
20?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you've been... It telling you that you may have been out here for a lot longer than you thought.
Yeah.
But also, it was noticed that your hair is changing color.
That's
which is fun.
true. That's true.
So, what
I'm
does that
dying.
even mean?
I don't know.
I mean,
Like you're just like
Yeah.
you get one con debuff and you're like, I am dying, everybody.
Look, I'm a very squishy character. That actually meant a lot to like my stats. You fucking bitch.
Yeah, that's right. It's 98.
It's
Is that
back in the 90s.
it? Get wrecked. So it means you can get hit once by Petravian.
Yes,
die.
and I will die. I will just go.
Yep.
Most of the people in the party can kill me very easily as long as they can hit me.
But I mean, what are the odds of Petravian just randomly hitting another party member with his hammer?
I mean, Vera's never going to live down a certain moment, so.
Yeah, what are the odds of Vera just randomly scything someone?
Hey, it hasn't happened this season though, so hey,
Yeah.
this is that.
Obviously,
What are the odds of
Petravian.
Levette just randomly shooting someone?
That's not random.
Oh no,
That was
he
aimed.
no Levette shot
Oh.
Vera
Oh, that's true.
Mhm.
in the
ass in the mines?
mines. Yeah.
Ow.
Dear. And
You fucking kidding me?
one failed will save, and what's to stop Kurlev from going spider on? Yeah, okay. Riz is in real trouble. Maybe
I'm
not dying,
in
but
danger.
suddenly in more danger of death than usual. But yeah, I loved that kaleidoscope horse scene because it was just clear how much this meant to Riz to see all these horses.
I cried again.
Yeah.
I just keep crying lately. I don't know. I'm a fucking sap. Ugh, loser.
Yeah.
It humanizes Riz to a certain extent.
Oh god.
It's nice
Yeah.
it's nice
Just
to
like
see that
the-
side of them.
Yeah, just like the hair turning brown, it also humanizes Riz.
Because they have less of a lifespan now.
Yeah.
I'm
Wonder what that could
dying.
It's a word I chose carefully there.
How
Now,
sweet
the other-
it is to be human.
Yeah.
No,
But the other thing you did notice, because of the True Sight spell, which that was such good timing, because I don't think I planned for that. Thank you for offering that spell to people, because it really allowed us to introduce the hair thing for Riz, as well as seeing that the Greater Wall has a magical barrier that extends up into the sky and down into the ground,
Yeah, we would have been fucking screwed.
which meant that what was his name? Thomas?
BB.
Big Bill.
Bob.
Big
Big
Bill.
Bill. You would not have been able to make it through underground.
No.
It was a lovely idea, though.
It was really cool. We would have been screwed. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. You'll get to use him another time
Oh, I will.
when we fight a
Just you-
dragon.
Just you
I want to
wait.
see Big Bill. I want us to ride Big Bill into battle so desperately.
I really don't. You
But
guys
it's derivative. It's terribly derivative, so I know that we won't. But in my mind, I will enjoy that mental image
Oh,
nonetheless.
I have plans for Big Bill. Just you wait.
Excellent. Ah,
Beardy has been told about these plans.
Mhm. Doesn't mean I remember them. But I've been told.
so, Levette takes a moment shortly after this to talk to Vera about the fight that Vera had.
Because Levette is like the bandage of the party.
Yeah.
Just
Petravian's the heart, but
helping
Levette's the
everybody.
bandage.
Tries to be.
Well, I mean, I think she's the only one who can really talk to Vera. Capably.
yeah. Whenever Petravian does, it usually doesn't go down well.
No. It
'Cause
go real bad.
Usually Petravian just says harsh things
Yeah,
to
he
Vera
just ends
in
up
the
saying
wrong
something
time.
really mean. And Vera's the youngest / like just became an adult recently.
Like I think Vera's like 30, 31 or something.
Yeah, for a half elf, that's like a really young adult, right?
Yeah, that'd be technically like 27 maybe or something like that.
Mm.
In a
Yeah,
way. It's
I
weird.
mean, you want to look at it maybe like 2/3 or 4/5 age change.
Mhm.
So, I'd say if you're in your mid 30s as a half elf, you're probably like in your late 20s as a
Mm-hmm.
human.
But like, I think season 1 Vera was a teenager too.
No, it'd be like
No.
21.
Okay, so you
Basically.
were still mentally older than Sol.
Yeah.
Oh, poor soul.
I didn't want to be the leader, but I had
Well.
to.
We settle in for the night, and the next morning, as we're wondering how long we should wait, we get another meeting with Mr. Lee.
It didn't take 4 days.
Yay!
Yay.
No, you put the fear of gods in him, or, well, the fear of necromancy in him, and he expedited matters as best he could.
Technically, I put the fear of Marcus in him.
Yeah. And when it became apparent that the bureaucracy was going to hold everything up to an insane degree, he's like, okay, we're going to just go ahead and postmark all of these papers and hand them to you. Here you go.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Which is a big leap of faith on his part, and a big transgression.
This is only partially legal, what I'm doing here.
But he believed in us, and he cares immensely about his country.
Mm-hmm.
So
And we can use that.
we can use this against these people. The care for their
We
country.
can use their love of their homeland against them.
As our introduction to the Kintao ethos, aside from Jiro, he was definitely a useful contact to make, and I think handled in just the right way, despite the great personal cost to Riz. But
Yeah.
PCs.
we get
17
inside
hit
the
points worth.
wall.
Now, do we
We
get
make it through the
XP when he
wall.
dies?
Fuck off.
We say, okay, bye, Jiro, and then, like, 2 episodes in, we see plus 20 experience just pop up. We don't know where it's from.
Cold.
If only our game worked that way. But alright. But thanks to him, we were able to get into Kintao and see the map for the first time!
Which was awesome.
We came from the
Yay.
Forbidden Lands, which is
Yeah.
fascinating to see their point of view in that, like, subtle way.
Yeah.
But we were in Kintao, and we got to see the beautiful lushness of their land and how everything is perfect at all times.
quote
Which is
unquote
not
perfect.
remotely creepy or unnatural.
I know it would creep me out, but at the very same time, I wanna roll around in that grass because there's probably like no mold in that dirt, and that would be the first time I'd been able to like roll around in dirt since I was a child before I found out I was allergic to it. And I really want that.
Like, all I can think of is when I would drive up north and I'd see the artificially planted forests that are all in rows, and just how unrelaxing it is to look at them in comparison to an actual
Yeah.
forest.
And how it's just kind of just this weird off-putting sensation to like stand in there and like look in all directions and you just see the perfectly organized trees.
Like, if
And
I
it's like, this is fucked up.
if I wanted to do that, I'd go into like a bathroom that has the mirrors that separate 3 times and just close my head into it so I can look
Yeah.
in infinity.
And that's what the forests there look like.
Or I
It's-
could just
it's
watch a
terrifying.
horse.
You could look at my horse, but I don't think you would see the same horse that I see my horse. Horse.
I just see a sign that says "place horse" here. It's a red error message from source.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we ended though.
Seen a dragon.
You saw a dragon. I don't like it.
As the dragon, just before the dragon flies overhead, Riz and Kurla have a little chat with Kurla, kind of trying to reassure Riz that they will be able to save Jiro. And their confidence in this coming from a very personal place.
Wait, what was that?
Carla and Rose had a conversation while we were heading south towards the town.
Really, I don't. Sorry, I don't recall that one.
I didn't either. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Wait, what
kind of a
happened?
really important conversation for Kurla and for me, but never mind.
No, I need to know
I
now.
need to know what it is now.
Tell us what happened.
It was a conversation where Kurla talked about the fact that Riz should be able to keep someone who is hell-bent on self-destruction from, whether for noble reasons or for negative reasons, that they will be able to do that because they've done it once before, as in Riz gave Kurla a reason to stick around,
Okay.
and is going to be that reason for Jiro as well. That was the gist of the conversation.
I don't think I am.
And
I don't think I outweigh the love of his country.
which is what Riz said, and Kurilla's rejoinder was that maybe they underestimate themselves there. But it was a nice moment. There was a line.
I mean,
from...
this is their second love. God damn it, they're trying. They don't know what to do.
I wish I rolled better for that perception last episode.
For the wall, or
When you and Jiro were talking.
yeah, I thought it was to hear about the wall.
No, because then Vera may have given.
Oh, because of his death. Okay.
Yeah.
There was
Giving you
also
something.
an interesting line in there from Riz about wondering if they fought hard enough for Kurilla, which
Oh,
wasn't something that Kurilla understood,
Yeah.
but something they appreciated, but it wasn't something that they quite understood what Riz meant in that moment.
That's okay. We're gonna have to wait till the end of this season
I mean,
for
as
me
a
to go
player,
over
I have
this.
as a player, I have my suspicions, but
Mm-hmm.
Kurilla doesn't quite know what you meant, but appreciated it and felt closer in that moment than they have necessarily been for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Riz appreciated the vote of confidence.
They are dreading this coming time. I mean, everything's so complicated. They feel like a kid right now for the first time.
Oh, that's sweet.
Everything's so new and scary. I don't like it. I was grown up when I started making memories for the first time. This is weird. Now I am adolescent. Ah.
Yeah, well, it's hard to navigate. Everyone's learning to feel for the first time.
Well, they felt. It's just not this way.
But yeah, the capstone to that conversation was seeing a dragon go overhead.
And continue
And-
on into the next episode.
A dwagon.
Yes.
A
Yeah,
dwagon.
you saw a truly colossal silver serpentine dragon.
It's so pretty.
The likes of which you've never seen before. Some strange new alien type of dragon.
Never wanted to.
Never wanted to see it, and it's too big.
And
it's
now
way fucking too big.
And now I just have to know that exists.
Yeah.
It's like seeing a new type of centipede.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
It's like, well, now I have to share the earth with this thing.
It's like I didn't know that they'd be that big with that many legs, but
Yeah.
hey, now I know the sky's the limit.
Bow.
But that brings us up to episode 53, which was yesterday.
Yes, it was yesterday. And thankfully, we all started off by having a little campfire around and Vera telling us how much she's afraid of dragons. Well, not telling us, but more as Riz picking it up because Vera was like, "How do we have to deal with dragons?" Ugh.
Great impression of Vera.
That
Yes,
was
I know.
It's like Vera's in the room with us.
That was
Oh my God.
transported. That is transported into last night.
I had a lot of fun chaos energy at the beginning of session, so I enjoyed that. Brought it in. It was good. It was good. I got to turn into a dragon to bother you. Ha ha. Bring the crystal dragon back. I'm sorry, Beardy. It is Sapphire. You told me it a couple of times like a year ago, and it's never left my memory.
Hey, guess what I remembered?
What?
Not that.
What?
I didn't remember which gem it was. It didn't.
Oh.
It didn't matter to me. Honestly, I thought it was amethyst anyway, but I probably just misremembered it. So, I mean, ultimately, it doesn't matter what
That's
kind of
okay.
gem dragon you
So-
ran
I
into.
made the
it
blue
just-
world purple, so
Yeah,
It's a
that's
chaos emerald dragon.
yes, it's a chaos emerald dragon. Rolling.
fine. Are I getting the number of chaos emeralds wrong constantly?
No.
Okay.
They figured it out eventually.
They got it. They eventually got it right.
They eventually got 7. It's fine. We could talk about the soul gems too.
Oh boy.
7.
They got the number of gems right, just not how to make a good game.
Ouch.
They're
So
bad.
how's the new one looking? Is it called Frontiers?
Yep, Frontiers.
How is it looking? Okay.
Who knows?
What do you think, Kenny? You think the Frontiers is looking good?
Fuck off.
Rolling around at the speed of
sound.
All right. I turned into a dragon, and it just happens to be the same kind, and I got to talk about how there's a world of crystal dragons. Fun.
Yeah, which I'm sure that'll never come up again.
No. What?
What?
Fuck you. But it was super fun to just be silly and stuff. I guess everyone really wanted to pet Riz. That was interesting.
Yeah, we don't want to touch dragons.
Yeah.
I wonder if that means that now that you, like, spoilers to the end of the episode, you run into this dragon in face to face now. Does that mean that, like, everybody's gonna want to touch this dragon too?
I don't know.
We'll have to ask. So, does Kurla want to pet the giant god dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah, the giant silver celestial dragon. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Okay.
But with all the shenanigans that happened in the beginning, I got to stir the pot and finally get Petra to admit he doesn't know how to fucking worship.
That's true. He's just like, I just have to do good things like that. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do as an action in the
That's
hive.
what you should do
but it's
just
not
as
how
a
you pray.
person.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, it's just
It just doesn't.
you don't need
help
religion to
Melly.
be a good person. You shouldn't need religion to be a good person.
What? If you don't believe in heaven, what stops you from killing people?
Oh
What?
boy.
I'm sorry, what?
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 So, I must have missed something. Where were there bees with the polymorph?
That did not happen.
It did not happen. I mean, we talked about bees, and I think Riz left because they didn't want to hear about it anymore. But
Okay,
there was no like actual physical
Okay.
bees that happened at all at the beginning, as far as I
gotcha.
know.
I misunderstood that.
Well, I guess
All
when
right.
Vera was like talking about praying, they were like insects that were crawling down.
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
controlling them as like a part of my own consciousness.
Mhm.
But that's about the only bees there was. But it was enough for Riz to be like, I'm out of there.
Yeah. So after that,
But- But then, yeah, there was talking about the worship, which is
Mhm.
like basically forfeiting like just the view of self and understanding that it's being part of the entire community of the hive and Malefer as one. That was actually the defining like way of prayer,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
which is what they use, why they basically go into the temple and just feel the same as a swarm, just like take in the movements.
We are one.
That's,
So
as we've
you
T-posed.
guys, you end up managing to talk your way past the guards of the city. They kind of stop you and ask why a bunch of barbarians are showing up at their northern gate. And then once you make it past them, you're kind of walking through this really crowded streets, and that's when you guys notice, you start making like perception checks, and you notice that the people in the city are happy. And then everybody's like, at least Kurla doesn't believe that and has to like make sense motives, because the concept of a happy urban center is kind of something that is a little foreign to you guys, which I think is kind of interesting. That, I mean, every city you've ever been to has had its share of problems, or poor or downtrodden, or urchins on the street, or crime, or anything. But this place is kind of incredibly well maintained and well ran, and feels in a lot of ways like the hive, which is pretty wild.
I knew that was gonna happen. All right. Figures. All right. Yeah, what was Farah's interpretation of the town that was hive-like?
Oh, well, like I had said, this is very similar to what we're hoping to see with more and more followers of Mellifera, is that eventually the hive mind will basically kick in, so everyone knows what they should be doing to help the hive. Everyone will have empathy towards each other. So in a way, it would be function very similarly. But obviously, it's Melly's magic, so it's much better. It's much more true.
You're such a privileged twat with Vera sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just like, oh wow, this is idealized of what I want, but it's not mine.
I mean,
so
it could be
it's not
better.
as
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's still good,
Uh-huh.
potentially. I mean, all these people fucking suck, but
Vera's such a bitch.
So, and as you guys are heading down the street, there's a bell that rings. Everybody gets out of the middle of the street, clears a path, and your horse kind of stops and
fucking horse
causes an accident as a rice cart is overturned trying to not hit you guys.
I'm so fucking mad at that horse.
It's Beardy's fault.
It was the horse's fault. The horse stopped. Beardy was over here. He wasn't even in Kintao.
I hate all of it.
So at that point, after the reaction of the public, which was to immediately get everything cleaned back up and back on the street, you guys get arrested by some guards and taken to the magistrate, which is where you're heading anyway. So win-win, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I will say it was convenient to get there. I was like, well, I mean, we need to get there anyway, so I guess this is a way to expedite it. But
Yeah. At which point you guys meet the magistrate, who I tried to explain poorly what they look like, but it was a very overly ceremonial,
Garb.
honorary clothes that are just that would be ridiculous to look at in any other
I
situation.
really wanted him to walk around and do things so badly because I was just like, what does that look like?
Nah, because he's got this 20-foot long robe on.
But, just the imagination of him walking down the stairs slowly with the cloth slowly falling behind him. That imagery looked so cool in my head. I was like, I just want this so badly.
I mean, I don't know if you have any reason for him to get up out of his seat.
Saving the world.
But he does explain the justice system to you barbarians ever so gently, which is that you owe everyone the time that you wasted of theirs.
Notably, normally I'd be like 30 days. Fuck it. But this is the soul situation all over again where they're being told, yeah, I know you're on a time limit, but here's the time that any normal person probably would have been fine with dealing with, right? It's like, I don't have that time. Uh-oh. But
I may have done the math wrong. Let me actually run those numbers again.
No, it's all good.
Vera was so close to telling this magistrate to stick it up his ass.
So glad we didn't get there. Ugh. Vera near Noble scares the crap out of me.
But hey, we haven't had a prison break really, so that could be fun. If this doesn't work out, go to jail, break out, punch some teeth in.
Yep.
It's gonna be a fun time.
No, I did the math right. It is 34.
Okay. Good.
It is 34 days per
well,
person.
we can deal with that after we save the world, which is pretty much what he says to us. Just from his relationship with Lee.
Yeah, luckily he is well aware of Li Heng and his devotion to the nation. So you don't just become the Greater Wall Gate Prefect for nothing. So he has a reputation, and this guy's aware of it. So he's like, well, if this guy trusted you so much, then you must not be complete shysters. So he explains to you that the only way around the punishment that he just officially doled out to you is to get it overturned by one of the celestial family. And they're just so happy to be one that lives in town.
Yes, sir. I mean, convenient for us once again, but thankfully we were told what was going on.
Oh.
I think we have to take a little quick break. So we'll be
Okay.
right back.